era that the ZANU-PF of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa, when it comes to mutilating the constitution of Zimbabwe, they are determined. And guess what? They are beginning now to share how they intend to actually manipulate the constitution. I must state it categorically that although they tend to twist what the constitution has actually articulated so clearly, I mean, under normal circumstances, and using a judiciary that is free, fair, and credible, and following the laws of the land. If laws are applied properly, they stand no chance. But however, they have got their own way of doing it, and so there is this fellow who shared this short essay, and Professor Jonathan Moyo commented beneath that essay, indicating that he was aligned with the view of this person. I will be reading it soon. Let me greet and welcome you to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. Hopefully you had a great worship Sunday. Today we are coming from the services. Today those who worship on Sunday, those who worship on Saturday, you are just relaxing. You know, we shouldn't judge people in terms of which day, which church they worship to. It is their choice. We have got actually our choice to choose how we want to live. So this is how I will read what this person said on her. He had actually quoted so many people in that, including even Professor Madugu, Professor Jonathan Moyo, as well as also Advocate Tabani Mpofu. I may actually go to look at how they responded to this. So he says, Section 91, 95, and 328 of the Zimbabwe Constitution do not require a referendum to introduce a 7-year presidential term, and do not prohibit a sitting president from benefiting from the 7-year term. So now get this, this person is saying this, it is not, it doesn't have a support from the constitution. It's based on the fact that the constitution is silent on these issues, and as such to them, because the constitution is silent, they say there is absolutely nothing that prohibits the Mnangagwa faction from actually, because the constitution is silent about Mnangagwa not benefiting from term extension. So they say the parliament can actually make an addition to the constitution that through a bill, not a referendum. That is how they interpret it. Remember, law is all about interpretation. You can interpret it in your own way. And then we've got the judges under normal circumstances who are supposed to use the constitution to arrive at a judgment. So let me firstly read this. He says, law is still my passion, but I have not practiced it in a long time. So rather than make submissions on the constitution, I will limit my submissions to Section 91, 95, and 328. Much has been written about Section 91. It deals with the number of terms and not the duration of a single term. So get how they want to do things. They say Section 91 deals with the number of terms and not the duration of a single term. So they want to, by mere fact that the Constitution deals with the number of terms and not the duration. So they say the fact that the Constitution is, but in my view, as I will be showing you, it is not silent on the duration. Now they go further to, he goes further to say, my concern is the duration of a single term. Therefore, I will not say more about Section 91. Section 95 appears to acknowledge that there is or could be another provision elsewhere that sets out presidential terms. The 5-year term limit to only apply in the absence of another provision to the contrary elsewhere in the Constitution. Section 95 says in subsection 2, let me read this. The term of office of the president or a vice president extends until A, he or she resigns or is removed from office, or B, following an election, he or she is declared to be re-elected, or a new president is declared to be re-elected, to be elected, not re-elected, rather, to be elected, and except as otherwise provided in the Constitution, their term of office are 5 years. Their term of office are 5 years. So the term of office, it's clearly defined that it is 5 years. The term of office. So the Constitution is not silent when it comes to the term of office. It clearly indicates that it is 5 years and coterminous with the life of Parliament. Same applies also with the life of Parliament. It's 5 years. If this is correct, there is nothing to stop ZANU-PF through Parliament and without referendum from introducing a new constitution. So this is how they intend to do it. So you're saying if it's correct, of course I have poked you all on that, without referendum from introducing a new constitution provision providing for presidential term limits other than the 5-year limit. Put differently, there is nothing to stop Parliament with the necessary majority from introducing a clause that says a presidential term shall be 7, 8, or 10 years. Such a provision would not amend Section 95, assuming it is the only section that provides for a presidential term limit of 5 years. Such an assertion would apply to the sitting president without falling foul of Section 3287, because the insertion will not be an amended to a term limit provision. It will simply be an insertion to fill a gap or lacuna in the Constitution. Now it goes on to say, it appears the drafters of the Constitution did not themselves know the duration of the term of office they wanted. If they wanted a 5-year term, it must have been very easy to just say that the duration of a presidential term shall be 5 years, rather than frame Section 95 the way they did. I'm not advocating for an amendment of the Constitution. I'm merely pointing out that there appears to be nothing stopping ZANU-PF through Parliament from inserting a 7-year presidential term provision in the Constitution without amending, contradicting Section 95, and that there is nothing to stop President Mnangagwa from benefiting from such an insertion. So you see, these people who claim to understand law, I mean, they sometimes bring this interpretation. Even if I'm not a fund in law, but I must tell you now, there is a reason why those who framed the Constitution clearly said a term of a president should be 5 years. And there is a reason they took a step further and said a president should not serve for more than 2 terms. They defined it as 5 years and for more. The fact how if they put a 5-year time frame for the Constitution, for a term to be 5 years, if they made it clear in the Constitution and went a step further and said, we don't want a president who serves more than 2 terms, there is no need for them then to talk of extension and all that nonsense. The mere fact that they are clear when it comes to 5 years as a term, it's clear on the section that this person alludes to. The only issue is raising is saying the constitution is silence on extension. Extension was not an issue for those who framed the constitution. What they did a brilliant job. There was no need to say extensions would never. If they say a term of office for a president it is 5 years, number one, that is enough. If they say a president should not serve for more than 2 terms, that is enough. If they say if ever this greedy president like Mnangagwa wants to go for a 3rd term, which is they are bringing it now, they are framing it as extension. If ever he wants to save for a 3rd term, because extension and okay, so extension, if they were clear that the term is 5 years, we don't want more than two terms, I mean, then how do you come and say no, but they are silent on extension when they clearly say not more than 10 years? 10 years should be the cutoff date. And they realized that because, they knew that they were sitting with a problem, sitting with a person who had actually served more than 2 terms, and who still wanted to die in office. And after 10 years, he would have needed more. Then they say, even if this person attempts through 2/3 majority to actually seek to change these sections, that permits the president to go for a 3rd term, they would, even if the referendum and the processes can go on, then that incumbent, that person should not benefit. You know, all these issues surrounding term limits, surrounding, also defining a term, and also the incumbent not benefiting. The framers of the Constitution put it in such a way to prevent any person who wishes to actually scrape off this law to be so difficult. So now these people who think they are wise, the likes of Professor Jonathan Moyo, I always make it simple. If they are saying, okay, the Constitution is silent about that, there is nothing that stops members of Parliament from actually extending the term of office because extension is not included in the Constitution. There is a reason why they did not include that. They left it open so that if someone has 2/3 majority, he can actually manipulate that and get away with it. This is actually, it's a cunning nature of these people. I have explained what is them they are imagining. This is an imagination. If something is not there in the Constitution, it means those who framed the Constitution, they knew that it's out of context. It should never be used. For example, Ndebele people they have a king. They wanted the government to recognize the king. Now, the courts of Zimbabwe, in dismissing the coronation of King Bulelani Kumalo, what they advanced, even Daniel Gawe, when he was actually writing to David Coulthard for recognizing, in fact, for meeting with the king, because the king is there, whether they want to recognize it or not, the fact is there. What Daniel Gawe said, he said, in the Constitution, we don't have statutes that supports the recognition of a king. They say it so. Now, so if law is equally applicable, we don't have anything in the constitution that talk of Mnangagwa's term extension. As such, this thing should not see the light of the day. No matter people try to tweak because they want something out of Emerson Tambuzo Mnangagwa, no matter which angle they are trying to tweak to appease Mr. Jones, the Constitution is silent about it, and as such, it should not see. This should not see the light of the day. In simple terms, this is how these people attempt to mutilate. It is still mutilation of the Constitution. That they want to do it in broad daylight and justify it the way they are justifying it. But in my view, this is actually broad daylight robbery of the citizens of Zimbabwe, of which they should make sure that this thing does not see the light of the day. It's high time people stand up and fight against Mnangagwa. If Robert Gabriel Mugabe was defeated whichever way, it's high time also Emerson Tambuzo Mnangagwa is defeated whichever way. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Okanqube Umhlabane is signing off. Let me laugh and leave you. Let's